video series is going to show you how I use my book 300 Progressive Sight Reading Exercises for Mandolin to train my mandolin students how to read music. If you had just gotten my book 300 Progressive Sight Reading Exercises for Mandolin and you want to start putting it to work, here's what you're going to want to do. This is what I do with my students. The circle of fifths is here as a conversation starter on page 5. Ask your teacher about the circle of fifths if you have not already been trained in the circle of fifths. It's something you need to know about. The only place in this book you'll see tablature is on these scale pages. I put scales for C and A minor, C major and A minor, G major and E minor, F major and D minor. I grouped those scales together because they are relative keys to one another. C major and A minor are relative keys. It means they have the same key signature. It means they are made of the same notes. G major and E minor have the same key signature. They're made of the same notes. F major and D minor have the same key signature. They're made of the same notes. Counting rhythms in 4/4 time. So we're going to see a lot of 4/4 time early on in this book. It's also called common time. We're going to count to 4 in 4/4 time. We're going to pay attention to the upper number of the two. The bottom number has a meaning too. It's important, but we're not going to talk about it right now. Right now we're going to focus on the upper number. So we're going to see whole notes. If we get a whole note, we're going to play the note on beat 1 and let it ring beat 2, 3, and 4. We don't play the note 4 times, we play it once and let it ring all 4 counts. We don't play it 4 times. Half notes get played on beat 1 and beat 3 in this case. It's possible to put a half note on beat 2. It's not possible to put a half note on beat 4 in 4/4 time because there's not enough room left in the measure for it. So the half notes would ring on 1. We'd let it continue. We'd play it on 1. We'd let it continue to ring through beat 2. We'd play again on beat 3. Continue to ring through beat 4 in this case. Quarter notes are going to be 1 beat. 1 note per beat. We will get a note 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get a note on each beat. Eighth notes are going to be what we're going to call the division of the beat. So we divide the beat into 2s. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then finally 16th notes are what we would call the subdivision of the beat. 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. Now, in the early stages of reading for a mandolin, I'd recommend playing the notes that are whole notes or dotted half notes, notes that are longer than 2 beats. At this point, just play them as you normally would. Just let them ring out. Down the road, as you start to get more skilled at mandolin, the way it treats the music is notes that are longer than 2 beats get played as a tremolo, so they get rapidly picked throughout the value of the note instead of just played once. But for our purposes learning how to read, ignore that for the short term and then plug in the technique later. There are some pages in counting in 3/4 and counting in 6/8. If you're counting in 3/4, you're just going to count to 3. Counting in 6/8 is a little bit different. There aren't 6 beats in 6/8 time. There are 2 beats in 6/8 time. I also have this book, Rhythm and Meter for All Musicians. And even if you don't have this book, the explanation on how to count rhythms in detail will be in the videos based on this book, which are coming soon. So the first thing you're going to want to do, right when you get the book, is you're going to go to page 15 and exercise 1. What we're going to do is we're going to annotate the first occurrence of each note. So every time we see a note for the first time, we're going to make an annotation in the book. Okay, so on page 15, you're going to go to exercise 1. And I'm going to put a number in a circle below the first note. That means it's on the 2nd string. And then I'm going to put a number above it. In this case, if it were classical guitar, we would see it as a finger number. For mandolin, I'm using fret numbers, not finger numbers, because we're going to span the frets a little bit differently than on a mandolin than we would guitar. So this isn't a finger number, this is a fret number. And the note's a C. So I'm mostly interested in where the note is at this point. You're probably going to play that C with your 2nd finger, which if you count our fingers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can make that notation if you want to. It's your 2nd string, 3rd fret, it's a C, and you're probably going to play it with your second finger. On the same page, we're going to see a D, and that's also going to be on the second string, and it's at the 5th fret. And annotate it exactly as you see. 2 in a circle, it means it's on the second string. The 5 means it's at the 5th fret. The D is the letter name of the note. On the same page, we're also going to see one more note. We're going to see the E, which is the open first string. Again, the 1 in the circle means it's the first string. E, and the note's open. On page 16, there's one new note, and that's going to be the maximum that we're going to see from this point forward. We're never going to see more than one new note on a page. In this case, it's an F. It's going to be the 1st fret on the 1st string. The new note here is going to be a G, which is your 3rd fret on the 1st string. Go to page 18. The new note here is going to be the B, which is going to be your 2nd string, 2nd fret. On page 19, the new note's going to be A. It's going to be your open 2nd string. A, open 2nd string. Go to page 20, and we're going to see G, which is going to be your 3rd string, 5th fret. The next new note we're going to see is going to be on page 28, exercise 53. It's going to be F on the 3rd string at the 3rd fret. On page 29, the next new note we will see will be an E. It'll be the 3rd string, 2nd fret. On page 30, you will see a D, which is your 3rd string open. On page 34, exercise 77, you will see the 4th string, 5th fret is a C. Exercise 89 on page 37, we will see the 4th string, 4th fret, which is a B. Exercise 97 on page 39, the new note is an A. It's the 4th string, 2nd fret. The next new note we see is on page 53, exercise 153, and it's the G, which is your open 4th string. That's the lowest note you're going to see for mandolin.